I want to welcome Mr. Vinnie Tortorich.
Saturday morning here. Thank you, sir. I like doing this because I learned this from my stepdaughter. Just always take a picture of everything. You know, it's amazing. I was thinking this morning just driving here. Well, I wasn't driving, I was Ubering. And I started thinking about the Uber driver. And 10 years ago, the Uber didn't exist. Most of what's on the internet today didn't exist 10 years ago. And I started thinking about my buddy Dean. Dean and I had 4 dinners on 4 Friday nights. And we had a piece of fish each time. And we had a scotch. And on all 4 of those Friday nights, he said, "You need to write a book." And 4 times I said no. And then on the 5th Friday night, we were having fish and scotch again. And maybe I had 2 scotches. And he said, "Why won't you write a book?" And I said, "Because no one wants to hear it." And he said, "But you've been helping people in Hollywood for 30 years. Well, at that point, it was 20-something years. And they've been losing weight, and they're in great shape. Why wouldn't you take this to the rest of the world?" And my answer was, because no one wants to hear it. The term keto, the reason we're here today, didn't exist 10 years ago. Yeah, the ketogenic diet existed. We could take that back to the early 1920s, maybe even earlier. Atkins existed. They called him a kook. And I didn't want to become the next kook. But somehow Dean got me to sit down and start writing a book. And I was even shy to even begin to mention low carb. So I didn't call it low carb at all. I called it no sugars, no grains. Because I figured that was something people can kind of easily digest. Well, if you just cut out the sugar, if you just cut out the grains, you'll be okay, right? I was shy to even say, "Hey, man, you got to eat high fat," because the world wasn't having it. So I want everyone here to give yourself a hand right now for figuring this out, because now the world will have it. I was driving to the gym the other day, and I do realize how douchey that sounds. Yeah, I was going to the gym. yeah, I was going to get in that gym, and I was going to do this. What's that with the ropes? Where's the last time we even had longshoremen, but everybody's in the gym? I don't even know what that is. What are they doing? And there was another guy. He was really pissed off at a medicine ball because he was taking a medicine ball and doing this. Not to be outnumbered by the other guy who took the medicine ball and he was doing this. I can't figure out the gym, but yeah, I really was going to the gym, and I know how douchey that sounds. And there was an insurance commercial on the radio, and they said, "Hey, do you swim? Do you jog? Do you run 5Ks? Have you ever hiked? Are you a vegetarian? If you're any of these things, you could get a discount on your insurance." And I thought about it for a second. Jogging's good, hiking's good, running 5Ks are good. But vegetarian? Really? Are we still pushing this initiative? Vegetarian? Oh, if you're a vegetarian, we'll give you money off. But that's where we are in the world today. And that's why we're all here. Look, when I did some of these things 5 years ago, when I would go out and meet people, you didn't see this many people in the audience. You might have seen, if it was a big turnout, 30 people. Maybe 30 people. And we were all considered just a weird little cult. But I'm told this weekend there's over 3,000 people at this convention, and that makes me happy. About 2 years ago, a movie came out. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't, called What the Health. Anyone? Anyone see that movie? Yeah. And I knew it was another vegan propaganda film right from the beginning. I knew it was going to be another cowspiracy. I knew it was going to be another forks over knives. I knew that up front. Why? Because the guy who did Cowspiracy told a lie in the first 3 minutes of the movie. The guy's name is Kip, dude with a man bun. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, bro. Hey, dude, bro, dude. I was just looking for the perfect diet, and I didn't know what it was. And someone told me about this, I don't know, I think they call it veganism. So I thought I'd look into it, and it turns out it's the way we should be eating. That's in the first 3 minutes of the movie. And unfortunately, that's not the biggest lie in the movie. They spend the rest of the movie lying to you. So everyone started saying to me, hey, man, and by the way, Kip is the same guy that was in Cowspiracy. So, you know, he didn't even pay attention to what he had learned in Cowspiracy because he was still looking for the perfect diet. Everyone started saying, hey, man, you need to do a movie. And I kept saying, hey, man, why me? Why do I have to do a movie? And I think the reason everyone thought I should do the movie was because of my proximity to Hollywood. In fact, I lived in Hollywood, California. That's all I knew about the movie industry, but a lot of people were really hyped up about this what was it, not Forks Over Knives, the How to Eat movie. And I said, okay, I'll look into it. And I started talking to people, and I finally came across this kid, Peter Pardini. Peter knew what he was talking about. He was coming off of a really big movie. He had just done the movie about the band Chicago, now more than ever. The thing was great. I looked at it, and I went, wow, I can work with this kid. And if you guys, and a lot of you guys did, you guys gave money for us to do the movie Fat, a documentary. I never thought it could happen. We got over $250,000. I can't thank you guys enough for the people in here who gave to the movie. And I think we did the right thing. And I thought that today, for the first time anywhere, with this crowd, we would show you guys. Are you guys interested in seeing a few minutes? So what we're going to do here is I have, I think, 16, 17 minutes of the movie. We're going to run it right now. I'm going to go off stage. We can all watch it together. And then after the movie, there's a mic right here. If anyone has questions, we can talk about it. Paul, are you ready? Let's rock and roll.
Nutrition information can be so confusing, and as advanced as we are medically and scientifically, the question remains, what food should we eat to achieve good health?
We're in a war for information, and the fallout affects all of us. The media is just going to sell what people are going to buy. And if people knew the truth, they would know what to ask for. My name is Vinnie Tortorich, and I've been in the health and fitness game for the better part of 40 years, specializing in weight loss.
I used to see the occasional person who needed diabetic foot ulcer management and needing an amputation, and it started becoming virtually weekly. When you come into a clinic and there's patients with, with rotting flesh, and it is rotting flesh, and it smells bad. It looks bad, and all you're doing is just trimming off a little bit of foot. It starts with a toe, starts with an ulcer, then it moves up the foot, and sometimes you get to a point after doing 2 or 3 operations, it's been going a couple of months, and then the decision is you've actually got to chop that leg off.
You're welcome. This lady said thank you, and one of the things I get all the time. And by the way, if anyone has questions, please come up. I get all the time, when people have seen the movie. Should you leave that part of a foot being chopped off? I mean, don't you think that's a little gross? And oh my God, that's maybe going too far. And my feeling was, I didn't go far enough. because that's reality, folks. What you're looking at on the screen is reality, right? Type 2 diabetes didn't exist when I was a kid. Unless you were an alcoholic in the throes of alcoholism and about to die, you got type 2 diabetes. Now it's part of what we now call a syndrome, along with everything else we get, sleep apnea, fatty liver disease. Again, something that only alcoholics had in the throes of alcoholism. Yeah, all of these things existed only with people who were really sick, right? Yet, people don't want to see it, even in a movie. They go, oh, maybe, you know, everyone has said, maybe you went too far. Maybe you should cut that one out. No, that's what will happen to me and everyone in this room if we keep eating the way we eat, right? So that's the big change. So I'm going to just take questions.
Real quick, Vinnie. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, 2015, I wanted to kill myself because I didn't have any answers, being 100 pounds overweight, type 2 diabetic. And all this misinformation on what to do was coming at me, and then I heard you on the Adam Carolla show. I did what you said, and you saved my life. You literally saved my life. My question is, I know there are hundreds of thousands of people like me out there that feel the same thing. How do we change the US nutrition guidelines? How do we lobby? How do we get government buy-in? That's what we need. How do we get there? That's my question.
Thanks. That's Jill Reeder, folks. I've met her several times. I've seen her before and afters. And just an amazing story. Jill, I was on a breakout room yesterday in the building, and a kid named Robert, who, by the way, he's going to be speaking in about an hour and a half. I think he comes on after Sean Baker. And he said something that makes a lot of sense. You saw the government. You saw the McGovern Committee. Guess what? Government hasn't changed much since then. I would even say government has gotten worse. It's not going to change from the top down. It's got to change from the bottom up. And folks, everyone in this room, you're on the bottom. And we just got to keep going up.
One of the most important things that I learned from you, and by the way, thanks for saving my life as well.
By the way, I didn't save your life or Joe's life. I didn't save anyone's life. You saved your own life.
You can sell that bullshit somewhere else, bro. Vinnie. We all know what you did. Nah, screw you. Look, what is the...
Okay, so maybe I saved yours. So screw you.
What is the number one thing, if people that are just starting to change over to this way of life, to this way of eating, what is the number one mistake that most people make, and how could they overcome that?
They think it's a diet. They think keto is a diet. It's not. It's a lifestyle change. Whether you're doing paleo or keto or low carb or you're calling it NSNG or any of the brands or even Atkins, I don't care what you're calling it, it's not a diet. Because a diet has a beginning, middle. You know, people call me every day and go, hey, man, I'm doing Whole30. Whole30, what's that? Well, for 30 days, okay, right there, you got a problem? Because it's got an end date on it. Whenever you can look at a diet and you see an end date, just throw it out the door. It doesn't matter. I said in the movie, I watched my mom when I was growing up, you know, eating boiled eggs one day, and the next day bananas, the next day avocados, and the next day Cambridge soup diet, and all of this stuff. It all had a beginning, middle, and end. What are you supposed to do for the rest of your life? Right? It's kind of like watching an old Western when they ride off into the sunset. You know, they're holding hands on horses, riding off into the sunset. And you go, you know what? She's going to be bitching at him in about 15 minutes. You should have turned at the rock in the desert. I told you to turn at the rock in the desert. You should listen to me when I tell you to turn at the rock in the desert. That's reality. We don't get to ride off into the sunset. We're here until we die. Didn't mean to go off on a tangent, but.
Good morning, Vinnie. So I have a friend, or a close friend who has type 2 diabetes. I myself was diabetic, like dealt with all those issues. and have cured all of that by starting to eat this way and losing weight. And he's seen that happening, but then keeps saying, I just wish I could do that too, but doesn't seem to want to take that hump. And this week again, his doctor increased his insulin again and just keeps doing it, and more medications and more medications. And what do you say to someone that is in that place of they want to make change, but they just don't seem to be making that connection? Like, any ideas of like what to say, what to do?
Yeah, I know exactly what you can tell them. It's a one-word answer: nothing. Tell them nothing. We can't change anyone else. I can't tell you the number of people I speak to every week, the number of people who write to me on VinnieTortorich.com and the whole thing. They'll say, hey man, I'll do anything. I'm 450 pounds. Doctor says I'm going to be dead in 5 minutes. I have type 2 diabetes. They're talking about chopping something off. What should I do? And I'll say, well, first thing you have to do is cut out the grains. And they'll go, my beloved bread? You want me to get rid of bread? Oh my God. It's like, you're the one who told me you were going to die. Yeah. He can look at your results and see the results of what happens if you do it right. But you can only lead that horse to water. You know, we all know that we're in Texas. Everybody knows about horses. You can only lead the horse to water. You can't make it drink, right?
Definitely. Thank you.
Thanks, man. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Hi, I just wanted to say I'm a pharmacist and I specialize in geriatrics. And my average patient is on 12 medications per patient. And I see about 1,000 patients a month. And you can see the effects of all this on the geriatric population. It's just completely amazing what the dietary guidelines have done to our aging America, and it's very scary. So if everyone could share this, I see patients all the time with those rotting feet, so if everyone can share it and help someone, it would be really important for everyone.
Yeah, you know, that makes a lot of sense. I don't mean to one-up you, but you know, you said geriatrics. I was in my hometown about 6 years ago, and there was a bunch of people hanging out. I grew up in the Deep South, and they were hanging out on the porch, and they were drinking margaritas and having a good time and eating chips. And I hadn't seen most of these kids since I left town back in 1981. And we're now 50 years old at the time. And every one of them, it was like, hey, man, you look like you're in pretty good shape. Yeah, I hit the gym, you know. And they go, oh, so that gym really works. It's like, no, it's all about, I said, it's all about diet. Every one of them were morbidly obese. These are my best friends. This is why I get so angry. It's my friends and family that I'm looking at, right? And then I look at you guys and I go, oh, you guys are just like my friends and family. We're all in this together. People go, why are you so angry? You're thin, you're lean, you're in good shape. Because I'm looking at everyone else around me who's not thin and lean and in good shape, and I worry about them. And every one of those, to her point, that, you know, every one of those people, they were on at least 5 drugs. They were 50 years old. I said, 5 drugs? And they said, yeah, how many are you on? And I said, 0. And they were like, oh, come on. You're on something. No. I'm on meat twice a day, but maybe a couple of bags. What kind of time do I have? Oh, good.
Hi, Vinnie.
Hi.
My name is Captain Stephanie Lincoln with Fireteam Whiskey. I introduce military members, veterans, and first responders to the ketogenic lifestyle. So I love that you focused in your documentary on the government's failure and complicity in this issue, and it's rampant in the military and our veteran population. 1 in 4 veterans has type 2 diabetes, a completely preventable disease. My women's veteran group goes to the VA every single day and serves cookies and donuts and sugary juices. And I just wanted to just get your thoughts and perspective on the military disservice and the veteran disservice of these nutritional protocols through the government.
First off, thank you for your service. Everyone, come on. You would be shocked at how often I get calls from people in the military. And a little secret, when you guys call me, I have this paid service. It's kind of how I make a living. I refund the money to you guys. So if all of you guys start calling me, I'll be completely broke. But yeah, you know, there's so many people in the military, and when they're especially a lot of people are in the Middle East right now, and they talk about what they get to eat there, and it's all crap, right? And I've tried to talk to politicians to get me in a position to maybe go in there and talk to people and go figure out what we can do. But as of yet, I can't figure out how to break through all of that red tape. I'm trying to break through so much other red tape that it's kind of become impossible. But one of the things that I begged Gravitas, the company that bought this movie and that's putting this movie out, is that they have the rights not only to put it up on iTunes. By the way, folks, we need to do this right now. If you have your phone and you haven't bought the movie yet, buy it right now on iTunes. Go right now. And since you saw 17 minutes of it, screw it, give it a review. Say, hey, I saw 17 minutes. I can't imagine what the other hour and 20 minutes is going to look like. So you can do that right now today because that helps more people find this movie. But we're going to also try to get it to the military, to the police force around the country. But more importantly than anything else, I want to get it into the schools so that kids can see this.
Thank you.
And that, by the way, is why we don't have the big Netflix deal that everyone wanted us to have. I want people to see this. I don't want it to sit hidden on Netflix or Hulu. We got Dr. Peter Ballastat in the house. Come on. This guy will tell you more about why cows should be crapping on your lawn than anyone else I know. How you doing, Peter?
I'm doing well, Vinny. So are you. Thank you very much. I'd just like to offer anyone who's struggling having conversations with dietitians or doctors, and if you're metabolically ill, the easy out at this point is just to say the dietary guidelines are not intended for the treatment of disease. They say so on page 6. Okay? Done. We're done. Okay, now we need to find something that works. And so thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for showing the truth. And yeah, good health to everyone.
Peter, wait, come back for just a second. One question for you. Will a cow fart ruin the ozone layer? I need to know because I was talking to a vegan there that said, hey, bro, cow's going to fart and the whole ozone layer is just going to go away. Bro, broski dude, bro.
Yeah. So short answer, no. One fart from anything won't change the world. Number 2, it's the wrong end of the cow. It's belches, not farts, and maybe it's only me that thinks that's important to know the difference. And then as the methane that cows produce is a cycling of carbon as opposed from the atmosphere through the plant back to the atmosphere. The methane quickly gets oxidized back to CO2 within 10 years. It's stable as opposed to burning fossil fuels, which you need to burn when you produce all those healthy whole grains and fruits and nuts that apparently we're dying from because we're not eating enough of.
Peter Ballastat, bro. That's science, bro, and I got feelings, and my feelings is that you're wrong, bro. You're wrong. By the way, go look up Dr. Ballastat on anywhere online, and I think, Peter, are you doing any breakouts this afternoon, tomorrow? Yeah, find Peter. He's a very interesting guy to talk to. How much time are we? All right, we're good. I'm sorry, I took too much time. I think Sean Baker's coming on next. And you guys stick around for that dude because he's going to tell you why you need to eat meat. And believe it or not, he looks nothing like Michael Grieger, so you might want to hang around and see that.
Vinnie Tortorich, ladies and gentlemen. Big round of applause.